Ladies, time has expired. I now recognize myself for questioning. Madam Secretary, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
We saw hundreds of billions of dollars spent by the administration and Democrats in Congress through the IRA, IIJA, and other COVID-area packages. Unfortunately, though years have gone by since these funds were appropriated, very few projects have been completed or even started. From broadband to semiconductors to EV chargers, our constituents are still waiting to see where their tax dollars are going. There are many excuses for why this is the case: Washington's bureaucracy, permitting delays, as you just mentioned, and more, but one of the biggest issues I hear is workforce. The Biden administration has made no secret of their intent to use the CHIPS Act to benefit labor special interest. The CHIPS Act was first passed as a national security imperative, not a bill to increase the union rolls. The data is clear. Across the country, fewer and fewer U.S. workers are members of unions. I've seen that in my Michigan district. At the same time, many of these semiconductor facilities are struggling to find qualified workers to build their facilities. It would then be reasonable to ask, why then is the administration asking these companies to acquiesce to big labor and increase union workforce at their sites, even in states where union workforce is at an all-time low like Texas and Arizona? So, Secretary Raimondo, why then add these regulations requiring unions workforce conditions when doing business with the federal government? Does this not go against the intent of the law? And how does increased union participation in building chip facilities improve the national security imperative of establishing a secure and domestic semiconductor supply chain?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Look, I want to be clear. It is a national security program. I say it all the time. There is no union requirement. There is no child care requirement, as we talked about earlier. My first phone call I took early this morning was with the CEO of TSMC to talk about workforce, because as you say, every one of these companies is struggling to find enough workers. We believe if you're going to take taxpayer money, these people ought to have good jobs with decent wages, good working conditions, safe working conditions, and we believe, you know, if Americans in a facility want to unionize, they ought to be able to give them that opportunity. There is no such requirement. But what we are requiring is a workforce plan, and I stand by that requirement. We require every company to tell us what's your plan. How are you going to hire the workers? How are you going to attract women? How are you going to train people? And I think that that's just taxpayer protection. But fundamentally, I work very hard to make sure this is a national security priority and push back against any, you know, special interest, to use your words, who try to get us to veer from that national security objective.
Well, I encourage you to then make it very clear of that position to our president as well. The incentive is there for unionization, especially using the CHIPS Act, and I think that's a great concern to us. Let me move on. Since I listed all the spending bills enacted, won't that cause inflation to rise and have a harmful effect on small and medium-sized businesses who are struggling, not only in the area of workforce, but just staying alive?
I don't think so. I mean, look, if anything, the fact that we don't make any semiconductor chips, leading-edge semiconductor chips in America, that's driving inflation. The fact that we buy them all from one company in Taiwan is a national security risk, and lack of supply drives inflation. These investments, whether it's in broadband, roads, bridges, water, they're investments. It's not profligate spending. I believe it'll make America stronger, able to outcompete the world, able to compete with China. And, you know, with respect to your issue, you know, I can't speak to EV chargers and such, but, you know, there are cranes all over Arizona and Texas because of CHIPS plants. Can we go faster? I'm sure we can. I'm always trying to go faster, drive my team crazy. But, you know, we had a middle mile ribbon cutting this past Monday, putting money out the door to like connect people to the internet. So I'll work with you to do more, go faster, be more transparent, but I don't think these are inflationary. I think it's what America needs to thrive.
Thank you. My time has expired.